What's up, everybody? Arrg the Pirate here, and today I'm going to be answering one of my most asked questions in-game. Now, people ask me all the time, hey, is it worth keeping Mana-Flow Acolyte on or not? And here recently, people have been trying out mid lane. Some of my newer subs have been trying out mid lane, and they've just said, hey, is it worth keeping that card on? Because it looks like it should be good, but I don't know. And I've always said, yeah, but I don't really know either. So I finally decided to actually buckle down and test this card out. Now, I do test it out at several different points, so hopefully we can see some real changes and get some real numbers with this card. Now, Mana-Flow Acolyte resets when you take it off, so all the testing has been done in separate matches. So at each point, I've gone into a completely separate match, which I am using the exact same howitzer, the exact same deck and everything like that. It's just I have gone into different matches so I could get the maximum amount of ranking on that Mana-Flow Acolyte. Alright, enough stalling, let's get into this test. Now, I have gone ahead and ranked up to level 10, and you can see I've got Mana-Flow Acolyte on with 3 points into Intellect. And I'm hitting for 66 damage with my basic attack, and I'm hitting for 336 damage with my R2000. From here, I go ahead and put 6,000 gold worth of points into Intellect. So I have 6 points worth of the bonus from Mana-Flow, and my basic attack is now hitting for 67 damage, and my R2000 is hitting for 348 damage. Now, we only have a 14-point increase in the R2000's damage and a 1-point increase in basic damage, but Mana-Flow does work off a power percentage, so having power cards on alongside your Mana-Flow is really where you get your advantage. But I kind of want to test everything out, so I head back and put on my Atomic Soldier. Now, at 9 points, you will be able to put on Atomic Soldier, so we can definitely see if we're going to have an increase in damage. Now, Atomic Soldier's basic attack hits for 73 damage, which is quite a bit more, and the R2000 hits for 403 damage. So we can see at 9 points in, Atomic Soldier just absolutely blows the Mana-Flow Acolyte out of the water. It has 6 more basic damage, followed by 55 more damage with that R2000. So it is a substantial increase in damage, and I definitely pick up that Atomic Soldier. But this is really kind of just the baseline. Atomic Soldier really strives on getting a lot more damage when you equip those type of power cards, so I definitely want to get into that and check it out. So our next test is going to be at 12 points, and now this is going to allow us to put Mana-Flow Acolyte and that Atomic Soldier on at the same time. Now, my basic attack is hitting for 88 damage, and my R2000 is hitting for 436 damage. Now, the next test I'm going to do is I'm going to swap out Mana-Flow for Invader Mage. That's why I went up to that 12-point mark, so instead of that 11-point, that way I could swap them out and it takes the exact same amount. So we got the full potential out of Mana-Flow that we could. So I'm just going to simply head down, hit those same minions, do that same basic attack with that R2000, and see if there is a difference. Now, it is also important to keep in mind with the Mana-Flow Acolyte, you are getting mana, and with Invader Mage, you are getting penetration. But your basic attack hits for 89 damage, so a little bit more, and that R2000, I actually wait because, that big pop-up. So the R2000 actually hits for 475 damage. Now, once again, we can see that the Mana-Flow Acolyte at 12 points is just a little bit behind. The Atomic Soldier Invader Mage combination does 1 more basic damage as well as 39 more damage with that R2000. So you are definitely getting more bang for your buck with the Atomic Soldier combo or the Atomic Soldier Invader Mage combo, as well as you are getting penetration. You are losing out on just a little bit of mana, but with that penetration, you're able to start really hitting heroes for a little bit harder, because at this point in the match, you're probably going to be a little higher in level, and that passive ability armors might start to take effect. Now, the last test that I do is at 19 points with Thaumaturgy, Mana-Flow Acolyte, and Atomic Soldier. Now, your basic attack hits for 124 damage, and your R2000 hits for 538 damage. Now, from here, I actually go ahead and take off all my cards and come back with nothing but Mana-Flow Acolyte on, just for the heck of it. You know, I figured I was here. It took a really long time to get to this point in this bot match. You know, this is the third game I've had to play, so I figured I might as well do this test before I have to actually go back and, you know, just completely take this card off and lose everything. So if you have 19 points in with your Mana-Flow Acolyte, you actually hit 485 damage, and with your R2000, you're hitting for 369. Now, no one's ever going to do this. I just thought I'd throw it in because, you know, someone might be curious, but, you know, that's really not a real test. Now, I am going to put on my Atomic Soldier, Thaumaturgy, and Invader Mage. This is all 19 points, so hopefully we can see if the Mana-Flow Acolyte has started to tip. Here at 25 minutes into this bot match, which I am on the hardest difficulty, you can see that the enemies are just pushing like crazy. It's getting a little bit hard to do these tests and everything like that, but I'm going to go ahead and try it out and see what we can actually come up with. Now, this is my current build. You can see I'm still at 19 points, and my basic attacks hit for 118 damage, and my R2000 is hitting for 558 damage. So, I am actually doing less basic damage, but a little bit more ability damage with this build over that Mana-Flow Acolyte. Now, this is a very close call. You do 16 less basic damage, but 20 more R2000 damage with that Atomic Soldier, Invader Mage, and Thaumaturgy, but it's a very close call because you do have that penetration with Invader Mage, but you can really see that the numbers are getting very close to one another. Now, after seeing how close this match was, I decided, hey, you know, I really need to test this out at a little higher level. So, what I've done is actually go into a fourth bot match. Yeah, and, you know, oh man, farming is so hard now. You know, trying to just chase kills to get farm because minion farming is very, very slow. Oh, it's been such a pain. But you can see here, I'm actually at 22 points in intellect and 4 points into vitality. So this is going to allow me to get Shadow Dancer and kind of compare the two. Now, with Mana-Flow Acolyte, Thaumaturgy, and Atomic Soldier, my basic attack is hitting for 129 damage, and my R2000 is hitting for 539. So it kind of looks like Mana-Flow actually has a cap, because in the last 6 points, we've only grown with 1 point in damage for both ability and basic damage. Of course, we haven't gained anything with power or anything like that, but we should have been receiving that with points, and with a 7-point increase, we should see something around, you know, 3.5%, and it is not there. It's just 1 point with both damage, both types of damage, so that's really, you know, not worth, in my opinion. Now, the enemy team collapsed, so I just cut all that out. But we can see with this sleeper agent, Mana-Flow, and that exact same kind of setup with the same amount of points, and, you know, of course, Atomic Soldier, with my basic attack, I'm hitting for 119. And then with my R2000, I'm hitting for 504. Now, this build just really is not worth it at all. You do get the silence, but other than that, it's just not worth it at all. I just thought since I had the cards online, I would definitely try it out and kind of maximize the amount of power and things that I had, or the amount of cards that I could use. Now, I have gone back. I put on Thaumaturgy, Shadow Dancer, and Atomic Soldier, which is a pretty solid build for a caster. I don't typically build with Thaumaturgy, but I wanted to kind of keep that baseline so I could really compare. So the only two cards I've really switched out is Shadow Dancer for that Mana-Flow Acolyte, and so we can kind of really see a test. Now, I hit for 129 with my basic damage, and with my R2000, I'm hitting for 536. Now, if we compare the two biggest damage builds, that was Mana-Flow at 23 points and Shadow Dancer build. So, if you take out the utility of Shadow Dancer with damage alone, they're almost identical, with 129 basic damage for both, and 539 R2000 damage on Mana-Flow, and 536 R2000 damage on that Shadow Dancer. So they're almost identical in damage. Now, if you look at the actual stats of these two builds, Mana-Flow actually has just slightly more basic attack damage at 64.12. That's 0.85 above the Shadow Dancer build. It also has 247.8 more mana than the Shadow Dancer build, so that's another extra rocket you can throw out. But Shadow Dancer does offer that small amount of basic armor, which as a burst caster you're probably not too concerned about, but you do miss out on the complete utility of Shadow Dancer, and as we all know, Shadow Dancer is an amazing card. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but we are in a bot match, and my entire team just abandoned me at Prime after they're the ones that started it. I don't know what that was. So, anyways, if you look at kind of the whole figures of this entire test, you can see Mana-Flow is a good card, but it's nothing special, and it doesn't really catch up until you get to that late game. And to be quite honest, if I have the choice to do the exact same damage but have, a little more mana over having something like Shadow Dancer, I would much rather have Shadow Dancer, especially for that late game. So, I would definitely say keeping Mana-Flow on for a good while until you get to that mid-game, till you get, your 10 points or so. That's probably very solid. Now, like so many casters are running right now, Death and Intellect, this is a great build, and if you do have Invader Mage online, I would say pick up Invader Mage and Mana-Flow for that 7-point build. I did do a kind of breakdown of what is the strongest 7-point caster build out there, and Mana-Flow with Invader Mage won by far. But I would say once you rack up 8 points, or 5 more points, get rid of your Mana-Flow, throw on that Atomic Soldier with Font, and you've got just an amazing build. Mana-Flow is a great card, but, through the numbers we can see it never really pulls ahead, even at 26 points in. Well, that's going to wrap it up, guys. This video took crazy amounts of time, 4 matches at, about 25 to 30 minutes a piece. This took a definite while to make, so I really hope it helped out, and I really hope y'all enjoyed. And if you did, show me some love, think about subscribing, and, leave me a comment. Let me know if this helped, and if you want to see other cards. I do have a gym test coming up, as one of my subs was like, hey man, you should try this out and let me know how it works. So I've got that coming up, and as always, guys, I'll see y'all in the next video.